I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 5 years ago, 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
I mean, we see what happens, you know. If he does that on the run that he's doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, you know. And that would be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out in whatever, in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up.
Before we jump in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment from the MMA world. Dustin Poirier recently delivered a bold analysis regarding a potential showdown between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev. At the same time, Arman Tsarukyan claimed that Topuria hasn't yet been properly tested by a high-caliber grappler, and said he himself would be the one to do it. Tsarukyan criticized Ilia's resume, suggesting his past opponents weren't in peak shape. He also made it clear that, in his opinion, a fully dialed-in Volkanovski would have beaten Topuria convincingly.
If he beat me, he's gonna be on the same level as Islam. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 5 years ago, 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
Chael Sonnen jumped in too, saying Makhachev may never cut to 155 again, because making lightweight has always been one of his biggest challenges. He added that if Islam becomes welterweight champion, a bout with Ilia becomes unlikely. According to Sonnen, the only way we see that fight is if Islam fails at 170 and comes back down.
Islam returning to 155 is a real stretch for me. I think that Islam is going to be a lot like Ilia, which is, hey, this is great. Thank goodness I got here. Most unpleasant experience that Islam has had in the sport is just beating the scale at 155. I'm very confident in telling you guys, if Islam has success at 170 and becomes the champion, that whatever dreams you have of Islam versus Ilia haven't gotten closer, they got further apart. If you have a dream of seeing Islam versus Ilia, it's very unlikely, but the best way to get there would be if Islam was to lose at 170.
As for Dustin Poirier, he called the idea of Topuria stepping up to 170 for a clash with Islam a bit far-fetched. He pointed out Islam's size advantage, calling him a big lightweight, and said even though he hasn't seen Ilia in person, the featherweight champ appears smaller. Still, Poirier acknowledged that Ilia has the power, technique, and skills to finish opponents from 145 up to 170. But he emphasized that Topuria has yet to face anyone with Islam's physical strength and elite wrestling. In his view, Ilia needs to defend his lightweight belt a few more times before a move up even gets discussed.
I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know, obviously, he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Max Holloway also gave his opinion. He said that if Ilia keeps winning and moves up eventually, it would be hard to say no to him. He described the matchup as a massive super fight and noted Ilia's power as something else. Max said you can't count him out in any fight. He admitted he wants the rematch, but won't complain if Ilia decides to go his own path. He believes Topuria's earned his shot, and that if the fight goes down, it's going to be wild.
I mean, we see what happens, you know. If he does that on the run that he's doing, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, you know. And that would be a freaking huge super fight. And with him having the punching power he has, is just unreal, bro. So you can't count him out in whatever, in anything. But I mean, who's to say? You know, that's not my job. I mean, if he goes up, he goes up. You know, he's his man. You know, do I want that fight back? 100%. But And I can't be like, hey, stay down here, blah, 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 and cry about it. So at the end of the day, if he does that, which he probably deserves it, not probably, he deserves it. So I think that would be a fun fight too. I think that it'd be super interesting if that fight ever was booked.
Arnold Allen showed interest in the fight too, but he also admitted he thinks Islam might avoid the matchup. Allen suggested Islam is more focused on legacy fights with big-name opponents, especially after recently facing guys who took short-notice bouts. Still, he said if Islam were to beat Topuria, it would say a lot about where he stands in the sport.
I'd like to see him fight Islam. I'd like to see him fight Islam, but I mean, I understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, it looks pretty good.
When asked to make a pick, Allen said he's been wrong before doubting rising stars, so he isn't writing Ilia off completely. That said, he still favors Islam to win in what he expects to be a competitive scrap.
Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong, so I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, like I say, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out, so, but yeah.
Jan Blachowicz offered his thoughts as well, calling the potential Islam versus Ilia clash one of the most exciting fights out there, but made it clear he believes Makhachev is currently at his best.
But it's gonna be a very good fight for watch. So, but I think Islam is like, right now he got his prime time, and nobody will stop him. Couple more years, I think. So.
Cody Brundage also threw in his 2 cents, giving credit to Topuria for his KOs over big names like Max Holloway and Volkanovski. He said a win over Islam could push Ilia into the all-time great discussion, maybe even top 3. Brundage pointed out Ilia's underrated grappling, saying he has solid wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But despite all that, he leans toward Islam, citing the size difference and expecting a high-level back-and-forth battle.
It's a crazy fight. We talked about that. Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list? Right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is number 1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously, it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3. And he could do it. I think people, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high-level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling. And so I think people are worried, saying, oh, well, he'll get out wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So, man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have 2 really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger of a fight.
Belal Muhammad didn't hold back either, blasting Ilia for trying to jump the line for a lightweight title shot. He believes Ilia needs to go through guys like Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, or even Paddy Pimblett first. Belal warned that if Ilia skips that process and loses, it could damage Islam's legacy, just like what happened when he beat a smaller Volkanovski.
I think he needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Paddy right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him. And then there are people are going to say the same thing that what happened when Islam beat Volkanovski. Oh, well, you just beat a 45er. That's all you did. He's smaller. Look at his title reign. It was a 45er, another 45er. But Volkanovski at the time was number 1 pound for pound.
Mateusz Gamrot thought the fight sounded great stylistically, but was concerned about Ilia's size disadvantage. He explained that to go toe-to-toe with someone like Makhachev, you've got to be just as powerful and physically dominant, and he doesn't think Ilia checks that box.
Interesting fight, but but I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy, and I don't think that Topuria has changed against him. If you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, similar like him, because he's good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Bo Nickal said he sees Islam as the top pound-for-pound fighter right now, but also acknowledged Ilia as a real challenge. He mentioned how well Volkanovski wrestled Islam in their first fight, and suggested Topuria might pose similar problems. Bo believes Ilia has what it takes to test Islam across all areas of the fight.
I think he's he's the pound for pound number one right now. And I think he can win. And what makes me think that Ilia will do really well against Islam is that Volk's first fight with Islam. I'm like, man, Ilia's wrestling is way better than Volk's. And obviously, you could see how the striking was.
Jorge Masvidal stood firmly in Ilia's corner, saying he'd bet everything on Ilia's takedown defense and grappling. He praised Ilia's aggressive style and said even one mistake from Islam could cost him big, since Topuria can reverse positions instantly.
I bet the house on Ilia. His grappling, offensively, it's very good. If you shoot it on this guy's legs and you make a mistake and you're the one going for the takedown, he has a very good chance that he might put your ass.
Michael Chandler joined the discussion too, stating that Islam is clearly the bigger man and his ground game is elite. However, Chandler sees Topuria having a major advantage when it comes to striking. If Ilia can avoid takedowns and keep the fight standing, he's definitely got a chance. Even so, Chandler still gives the overall edge to Islam, based on experience and complete skill set.
Islam fights Ilia. I mean, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, I mean, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong. He's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
Jamahal Hill backed Topuria's chances as well. He highlighted Ilia's quickness, unpredictable movement, and KO power. Hill said if Ilia lands flush, he can knock out anyone, no matter the weight class.
I believe he's capable of beating Islam. Just what I've seen and personally too, just hand speed, the tricks and the way he plays with his striking game. I believe he's definitely capable of catching Islam. And if he catches anybody, I believe he can knock them out. I believe his power might even carry. Not saying that his size and things like that, he can move up to those higher weight classes, but if he catches it, the way he hits it, somebody even in the bigger weight class get like that, he can put them on Wobble Street.
Colby Covington believes Topuria could pull off a major upset over Islam. He brought up Islam's razor-close win over Volkanovski as a sign that he's not unbeatable. Covington also criticized Islam's performance against Dustin Poirier, calling it lackluster, and said that makes a fight with Ilia even more compelling.
I don't know. I think Topuria might upset him. I think he has the ability to upset him. That first Makhachev-Volkanovski fight was really close. A lot of people thought that Volkanovski won that fight. So, I think the blueprint is out there for Makhachev. And I didn't think he looked that good in the last fight versus Dustin. I mean, he looked beatable. He didn't look like invincible. So, I think that'll be an interesting fight. Who do you got in that one?
He elaborated further, saying the real question is whether Islam can keep Ilia grounded, or if Topuria manages to escape and make it a striking battle. Since Ilia's been taken down before, Colby thinks that could play a huge role in the outcome.
I think that'll be the key to the fight. Can Makhachev get him to the ground, or is Topuria slippery enough to get away? Because he did get taken down in a couple of his fights. So
Chase Hooper spoke up too, saying he was especially impressed with Islam's improved striking. He pointed out that while Khabib mostly relied on grappling, fighters like Islam have evolved into complete martial artists. That's what makes them dangerous to everyone in the division. And Hooper still sees Islam remaining dominant.
Honestly, I was really impressed. Islam's last time out, I felt like his striking was really improving. So I think that's, especially when you look back at Khabib's fights, he's much more of a pure grappler. And then you see Islam and you see Umar and these newer generation Dagestani guys. I think they're a lot more well-rounded, which sucks for everybody else in the division. But I don't know. I think Islam still takes it.
Yeah. Beneil Dariush picked Islam as well, mainly due to his ability to manage range, his size, and his smart use of low kicks in conjunction with his wrestling. Dariush thinks that combination could cause problems for Ilia. However, he admitted that if Topuria finds the target, things could change in an instant.
I think it would still go the same. I think, Islam has such a big size advantage, and if he, distance kicks, takedown, rinse and repeat. If he continues to mix those things up, I think it would be a difficult fight for Ilia. But from what I saw, it wouldn't surprise me if he was able to put Makhachev's lights out too.
Cory Sandhagen, on the other hand, backed Ilia to win. He said Ilia's frame makes him harder to take down for someone like Islam. And in a striking match, Cory thinks Topuria would have the advantage. He also praised Ilia's defense and said Islam wouldn't have many options to cause damage.
I honestly think Ilia would win that fight.
Let me get you a breakdown of that fight.
I'm gonna actually go against, I think, what most people say, and I honestly think Ilia would win that fight. I think his stature is gonna be hard to take down for Islam, and I think if those two are standing, I just think that Ilia is a way dangerous guy standing, and I just can't really see Islam hurting him because his guard is real good, and I think Ilia will win that one.
Demetrious Johnson came through with a tactical assessment. He said Islam's southpaw stance gives him the ability to control space with body kicks and movement. He also said Islam could use his judo to bring the fight to the ground and maybe secure a finish.
Well, Islam's a southpaw, so he's gonna probably throw body kicks to keep his arms busy, keep the distance, move, feint, maybe use some judo to take him down and try to get him to the ground and try to submit him. But once again, I have to see, what Islam does to JDM.
Johnson also mentioned that Ilia becomes a serious problem once he finds his range. Even if it takes some time, he's confident Ilia will adjust. The real issue, according to Johnson, is whether Islam can avoid Ilia's power zone, or if he'll eventually get pulled into it.
But, I know the one thing that's the factor is that Ilia is always going to focus on getting to the right spot and fighting his opponents. When he gets there, he's going to unload. If Ilia can't get there, then he's going to figure out another way to get there. So the question is, how does everybody avoid that sweet spot against Ilia? That's the question, because Ilia is going to fight in a 25-minute fight. That's what it comes down to. And then you go from hey, how does Islam keep Ilia away from that spot, or does Islam meet him there? Right? There's so much that goes into it, and my brain is all over the place. So for me to give a clear-cut answer, I'm running around in circles.
In a separate interview, Arman Sarukian doubled down, saying if the fight had happened at UFC 317, Islam would have brutally knocked Ilia out. He believes Islam is operating at a level far above right now, though he still has his sights set on surpassing Makhachev in the future.
What do you think would have happened if Ilia fought Islam this weekend?
Islam Makhachev.
He would have beaten him?
By TKO.
Oh, wow. Really?
Oh, I mean, that's a different level of fighters.
You think so? Wow.
You can't compare Ilia versus Islam.
Really? I have Ilia #1 pound for pound now.
Yes, because Islam not champion anymore right now.
Right.
But when he get the second title, he's gonna be pound for pound #1.
So you think he beats Jack?
He beats Jack.
Yeah.
Became a pound for pound #1. I'll be pound for pound #2, champion lightweight division, and then beat Islam and became a pound for pound #1.
Wow.
Joe Rogan endorsed Ilia's shot at the 155-pound title, saying he's done more than enough to earn it. He cited Topuria's finishes over guys like Volkanovski and Max Holloway as proof that he's ready to compete with the elite at lightweight.
Because you have a world champion versus a world champion. If anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight. He doesn't want to fight 45 anymore. He wants to fight 55. World title shot.
Eddie Cha praised Ilia's precision, striking, and ability to control distance. He also acknowledged the strong grappling base Ilia developed back in Brave. Still, Cha questioned how Ilia would fare physically against someone like Islam, and ultimately gave Makhachev the edge.
People probably think I'm crazy, but I think that Ilia can get it done.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game and how he runs his offense, it's phenomenal. So, a size factor is my biggest concern, and I think the grappling, we'll see what happens, but I like Ilia on that one.
That's going to wrap it up for today's video. So, what's your take on this potential clash between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev? Is Ilia biting off more than he can chew? Is Islam just too dominant right now? Or could Topuria be the one to shock the world? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out more content on the screen now. Thanks for tuning in. Stay locked in with Ultimate Fight News.